Hello and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. A lot of people have asked for my comments about an event that happened in Milton, Ontario, and frankly, this one is shocking. What's been released is that a young man in his 20s is living at home with his single mother. I don't know if that's because of economics or if it's because his mother needs some assistance, some taking care of. That's not clear at this stage. But at about 5 a.m., so early morning when most people are going to be asleep, a group of people invades this house. They break in. There's apparently 5 people, and I'm getting to that number because there's 3 who are currently wanted by the police. There's 1 who was arrested at the scene, and there is 1 who was dead at the scene. So that's sort of the stage of things. They break into this house. They're armed with guns, and they go, and in the course of this, they are attacking the mother. So somehow the son gets a hold of his gun. He's a licensed firearms owner. He's allowed to have a gun. And he ends up in a gunfight. And there are reports that he may have fired only a single shot, which suggests he's a good shot. But I don't know. That one seems to me to be a detail that there might be some more information on as we go. But there is an exchange of gunfire between these two, and ultimately the invaders are repelled. They flee, but one of them is killed at the scene. So the 20-year-old man manages to shoot and kill one of these invaders. So the person who is charged, they charged with burglary and possession of a firearm without a license because, he doesn't have a license. And there's, of course, the person who's dead, they're not going to charge with anything. They don't seem to have a whole lot of information on these other 3 people. They are looking for information. They've released the details that it's a light-colored Dodge Charger with a sunroof and black wheels. There's a picture of it. I'm going to link the article in the description below because it's got a better picture, but this is the picture that was released. So if you know this vehicle and you know who's doing stuff, the police would really like to know about this. But the part that really kind of annoys me and has me a little upset here is that they charged the son with second-degree murder. And it seems to me that this is going to be a very difficult charge for the prosecution to make out, because we've got a guy who is the lawful occupant of this house. So, he's allowed to be there. The people who are coming in don't have any right to be there. They outnumber him by a substantial amount. I don't know if his mother is somebody who could help fight them off or not. I don't know her health situation or not. But even if we assume that the 2 of them are going to fight back in some way, they're up against 5 people. Even in an unarmed, contest, they'd be outgunned here. So, in terms of that sort of lends towards self-defense. When you've got people who have guns, that's clearly a lethal threat. I have some trouble seeing them getting to a conviction on this. And they've said that they're still investigating. Well, if you're still investigating, maybe you could hold off on laying the charges, because there is no statute of limitations on murder. If this guy lives to be 1,000,000 years old, they can lay those charges up to 1,000,000 years from now. There's no hurry on this. But by charging him, he's going to end up in custody, I'm sure, because this is noted to have happened February 19th, that he's in jail right now, which means that his mom is left alone with nobody to defend her, nobody to stand by her, nobody to support her in these moments. Can you imagine what she's going through, and she doesn't have her son there for support? They're just adding trauma to both of them. It makes no sense when you know that even if you think that they might be an offender on top of this, that they're victims in this. And this was apparently a targeted attack. So the police are saying that they came to this place for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, and I can't say. Maybe this guy's involved in some sort of shady business. I don't know. Maybe he owes money. Maybe there's drugs. Maybe there isn't, right? I don't know any of this. But even if he was involved in, some sort of criminal activity, I don't see how they could get past self-defense on what we have here. Now, there might be some additional details that come out, but again, it seems like it's going to be real hard to overcome that. I can't really picture what kind of details that might that be there. Even if the guy was shot in the back, there's a couple of things. One, people often get entry wounds in their back because they turn away or they, this doesn't necessarily indicate that something wasn't done in defense. And second, even if people are leaving, when they're armed with guns, you don't know that they're not immediately going to turn around and start firing once they're in their car or something like that. You're still under threat. If you did this at a police officer's house, I am sure that police officer would pull the trigger and probably would have pulled the trigger until they were empty. This is ridiculous. Now, the news articles don't indicate any charge at this stage of careless storage or storage of a firearm contrary to regulations. That doesn't necessarily mean that those aren't live issues. Sometimes they might not lay the small charge when they have big charges, and sometimes news reports don't report every charge when there's a showstopper. But even if there was a storage issue, that doesn't negate self-defense. It would just be a storage issue. I have some real problems with this, and assuming that this guy gets released, and there have been some past cases of self-defense shootings, including some that I've reported on here, where people have been in custody for months after, a self-defensive use of force. There was a woman who was attacked. It was described as one of the clearest self-defense cases, and she spent months in custody. It's ridiculous. But if he gets released, it's almost certain that he's going to get released with a no guns clause. So they'll release him back to his house with these people out there who the police have said they think it was targeted. And they're gonna make him defenseless. Great. This is one of those things where I kind of feel like it's a pick a side moment, right? You're sitting there going, well, we have these people who are running around breaking into houses looking to commit robberies, and this guy who is defending his mom. We really want to make sure that those robbers are properly protected. We as the police want to be on their side. Really? Shouldn't this guy actually be your star witness in the case against the home invaders? Shouldn't that be what we're looking at here? At least to start? Yeah, so here's the fun thing. I've got this news, these news stories, and I'm relying on the news reports from this. And normally when I do this, what I want to do is I want to look up the press release, because often the press release is, often that's where all the content is. It's usually better to just go to the source. I couldn't actually find the press release. I suspect that this was a press conference instead of something that they put out online. But I did find something else that I found really interesting here. And that is a story from the Hamilton Police Service. And if you're wondering, how far away is Hamilton, Ontario from Milton, Ontario? Well, it's about the same distance as the distance from your nose to your teeth. They're really close. If you get lost in Milton, you might end up in Hamilton. And so this is a report that on Friday, February 17th, there was a home invasion at 1 p.m. where armed masked suspects entered a residence in the area of Winona Road and North Service Road in the city of Hamilton and fled the area in a black Dodge Ram. So different vehicle, but often stolen cars are used for this sort of thing. So that doesn't necessarily mean much. And there were 3 suspects that they get a description of, although it's not a good description. There's a 4th suspect that was heard in the residence, but no description was obtained, so apparently they didn't see them. And it is believed a 5th suspect was waiting in the vehicle. And Hamilton Police Service would love to have some information on this one as well. But that's a really interesting number, that 5 number. So if we've got people who are out on a home invasion spree, and I don't know if this is the same people, but holy crap, is that a coincidence, right? This to me seems like you've got some people who really did a whole lot in the fuck around category, and now might have ventured into the land of find out. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for the guy who didn't make it out of that house. It seems to me if you are going into people's houses with guns on, a raid, that this should be a risk. There should be some potential. Like, you always need to know that even if somebody's unarmed, even if that person doesn't have a gun, they're in lethal threat. They're going to respond as, accordingly. Somebody might grab a kitchen knife, somebody, whatever. And certainly when you're doing this, you have very little regard for the safety of the occupants of that house. You're somebody who's willing to take the stakes up to life and death. So, yeah. I'm going to be trying to watch this one. I want to find out more information as we go. I'm going to try, but Canada makes it hard. We don't release like a charging statement that has, all of the details. We just release what's called an information, which is kind of ironically named because it has no information in it other than the charges. I'll probably reach out to the guy's lawyer and say, hey, can you give me any details? I expect that the answer to that will be no, go away, because that's what I'd answer, but I'm still going to ask. But yeah, this one, it just makes me shake my head. Repeatedly, especially in Ontario, we've seen these self-defense shootings or self-defense uses of force where they end up laying charges and either the person is acquitted or later they go, oh, well, we didn't have enough, so we're dropping the charges. Maybe we should recognize that the lawful occupant of a home shouldn't have to deal with these home invasions. And clearly the police aren't doing a great job because 2 in 2 days. So what else is this guy supposed to do? Sit there and watch his mom get killed or beaten up or whatever? We would think him to be an abject coward if he did that. So yeah, I'm upset by this one. I'm also going to reach out to the lawyer and encourage them to start a GoFundMe. A lot of people have asked how they can support, and I'm sure this guy's going to have legal bills. Even if ultimately he's found to be in the right, they're going to crush him under expenses. Frustrating as heck. All right, well, thank you for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more content. As I said, I'm going to try to follow up on this one. I want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level: CCFR, David Michaud, Canada's National Firearms Association, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. At the $30 level, Sights and Arms Limited and Jane Babe and Luxor. And at the $20 level, Lindsay Metcalf, Kyle Fox, Haywire, Gerald to the Bailey, Cameron Johnson, Andrew Elsich, and Vicky. Thank you as well to my $10 supporters who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you for watching. I hope this has armed you with knowledge. And I hope you have a drink, because this is that kind of video. See you next time.